Hey folks, please join our great community at rivianstories.com to get all the latest updates, pics, and videos from Rivian owners and fans. We also have t-shirts, hats, and gear guides for your next adventure. Hope to see you there. Skylar, thanks for mentioning a great topic, which is to talk to Jimmy and Nikki about their Rivian adventures. Rivian Stories started with the idea of capturing the story of adventure from the pre-order, now the order community. People like Skylar and I still call it the pre-order community. But we've been seeing a lot more of these stories about adventure, which we love. And the other thing that Skylar pointed out, which is a great idea to point out, is that we also have some groups that are using Rivian Stories, the community over here, for their local club group. So as you can see, there's a few here. And I will point out Scott's group, who Jimmy and Nikki are about to talk with, see if I heard just correctly. But great local groups that aren't using the RS community just for online relationships, but real life events. So this has been really cool to see unfold. As you can see, Scott's doing his next one on July 30th. And he's been doing some really cool off-roading courses and meetups and whatnot. People have stickers. I mean, Come get yourself a Rivian Stories group and come make one. One thing I'll say just to plug this community is that we're happy to provide the group for your local club free. We just love having more real Rivian owners and true fans as a part of our community. So enough plug for that. But Skylar, thank you for that. Anything to add on to that?
No, I mean, I am just excited that we're finally at the point where more customers are getting their vehicles, because I think this is going to be the really fun part of being part of a community like Rivian Stories, and it's meeting people locally or in other areas of the country and actually going and doing things and having fun in your vehicles. And that's why I wanted Jimmy and Nikki to talk a little bit about some of the things, some of the adventures they've already had, as well as, interactions with the community, with other owners, and with, the general public as a part of some of those adventures. So, yeah, I thought it would be fun to kind of
Great
highlight some of the
question.
cool stuff that people are doing in their vehicles.
If I had one thing to add real quick, to tag Rivian Dad Scott Lunt for the stickers. For his,
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So Scott Lunt Rivian Dad provided kind of a template for stickers and logos for some of these local groups, and he's let multiple groups use it, customize it. So that is kind of a cool perk of, yeah, coming and creating your own local group over on Rivian Stories.
Yep. Great point, Jimmy, and found a little post here that kind of mentions that in sync with what you're talking about with the tag there to Scotland too. Really cool. We envision there being hundreds of these little local groups, and that'll be fun. So back to Skylar's thing. Yeah, I have up here at least 5 stories that you've posted about your Nikki's trips and adventures. Where do you want me to go first? And I think that, like, just in general, you just take us along. Tell us about your adventure, who you're seeing, what you're doing, if you're signing autographs, if so, where.
we camped years ago, maybe once or twice. I'm not gonna lie to you, it wasn't a ton. But as a couple, as kids, we both camped. But we pretty much put, for the last 3 years up until we got the truck, we had started with, we had started making plans and dreaming and planning and mapping out all of these places that we wanted to go see, whether it was getting on a better route planner or just looking at places that we could go that were near, far, or in between. And thankfully, me as a Florida Air National Guardsman, we don't drill in July. So, I mean, literally for the last 3 weeks, almost, we have camped every weekend so far this month. Actually, we will be camping every weekend this month, but our big goal, well, not goal, but our big thing that we wanted to do first was try to knock out as many Florida state parks as possible and just explore the areas around us, and Florida in particular. So we started, people are like camping in the summer, like, are you crazy in the tent? But the springs here in Florida offer some of like the most relaxing cold. I mean, cold is relative, but 72
cold for us,
right? Cold for us, 72-degree water year round, beautiful crystal clear water, and so it's been it's been nice to get out, get to these areas that. Sometimes, so we've been to some, not as a couple, but we wanted to do as a couple and with our truck. So, yes, we started at Rainbow Springs, over just west of Ocala, and the reactions from the forest or the state park rangers have been wild. The guys and gals that are actually staying in the park, and their shocked face and inquisitive look to see what in the world they're looking at, because it doesn't make sense, and it's nothing that they've ever seen before. One guy thought we had engine trouble when I was taking stuff out of the frunk, until he realized
wow, you had a tent stuck in there. Like,
exactly.
What the heck?
Yeah, exactly.
No wonder it's not running right.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll let you talk. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, to kind of piggyback off of it, I think that this has been a dream that we've had for almost, 3 years while we waited for the truck. We, talked about all kinds of adventures that we planned on taking with it. We, sold our kayaks and waited till we got this truck in order to get new ones. And we have envisioned a lot of different things that we've wanted to do. I mean, when we were sick with COVID, we spent, I think, an entire week sitting on the couch just watching like overlanding videos and trying to think about different places that we wanted to go. And so I feel really blessed that like we have been able to experience a lot of the different places that we've been able to experience in our own backyard in the state of Florida. But I'm excited to really get out on the road and take it to more, further adventures that we have planned coming up. And, this weekend being one of them, to go to Tennessee and be able to do some camping out there, which I've never done before. I want to be able to see what the vehicle is capable of. We know what it's capable of now because we've been able to take it within a couple hours from our house. We've been to beaches, we've been to, forests and all that kind of stuff. But we have some, trips that we want to take out west to like Utah and really get some of the desert climate, and take it out off-road off there. So more than that, though, for me, I love wildlife. And so I'm just like thrilled that every weekend I feel like we come back with stories of more and more things that I couldn't even imagine we would have seen. And we have seen it now. And it's just like mind blowing. I could sit there and watch river otters all day long. I love them so much. But more like, alligators are a given. We're in Florida. So that's kind of, although we're both terrified of them, like I have a very healthy respect, but I also have a fascination. Like I want to get closer, and Jimmy's like, that's a nope. Like we're not going there.
A nope with teeth.
Yeah, but manatees swimming right up to our paddleboard and like bumping into it, watching them feast on stuff. We have gotten to see so much, and it's so cool. Outside of the springs, this past weekend, we saw sturgeon jumping in lakes in the Swanee River, which I didn't even realize we had sturgeon. And it was insane. Like they're actually pretty deadly, but, and they're huge, but, it was really, really cool. Just a lot of the things that we've seen. Again, I feel really lucky that, we've been able to experience it together, experience it with our truck, and then share some of these adventures with our community on Rivian Stories, with you guys. But also, like, being able to bring community members in to share these experiences with us has been so fun. And just something that I think that I've never experienced before in a community with cars, this is not something that, I've been able to make these types of connections. Oh. Yeah, it's been really fun.
It has. Yeah. Obviously in that last one, in this story, you're flipping through the pictures on Kyle. Like we had Jaron. We had tried. He was the one, for those who are familiar with the story, where I missed my turn going into work a couple weeks back. Turns out that was Jaron, and he lives not too far from where we were at Manatee Springs in Ocala. So we were able to meet up with him on Saturday, and he hung out for the better part of the afternoon. Did some paddleboarding, got to experience pretty much everything that we saw that I posted. He was there for, to include the 2 deer that showed up, which was pretty wild.
Yeah, right in our campsite.
Yeah, right in the campsite.
That was so crazy.
But yeah, to Nikki's point about the Tennessee trip coming up this weekend, Thursday, we're driving up to Chattanooga, and we're meeting Scott Gardner and Jen, Scott's girlfriend. And we've been kind of planning this for the last, I guess, three weeks to a month. Mm-hmm. And doing some camping there in one of Tennessee state parks, not too far out of northwest Chattanooga. And then I think our last day we're gonna hotel it. That way we can maybe go out to eat and have a decent meal without smelling like we've been camping for the last 2 days. And I'm sure and I know this. Every state park we've been to so far, they've had great bathrooms, and I'm sure Tennessee, great accommodations for facilities, and I'm sure Tennessee's not going to be any different than Florida.
Are you guys going to a state park in
We
Tennessee?
Yeah,
we are.
So I know that Tennessee state parks is one of those that have started rolling out Rivian Waypoint chargers. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to know or see if you guys run into any of those.
Yeah, I don't think this one has it yet. I did look earlier. I mean, there's no telling. This was when we first started planning it. I was looking, so we're talking 3 weeks to a month since I last looked to see what was on the map. But yeah, there's a lot of people that don't realize or haven't even considered state parks are a great option for, or campgrounds in general are a great option to get out and explore your state or surrounding states. But they also offer charging, because they've got RVs, and RVs run on 50 amp power, so it's almost like charging at your house. Mm-hmm. You're just not home.
Yep.
You get to experience something different. It's been fun. And then, the fact that we're meeting up with people who we have, texted with, chatted with on RS, but have never actually met in person. And friendships, something that we've talked about 100 times, especially, around the March 1st email, like a lot of this community and a lot of these dreams and a lot of the things that made Rivian as great to us as it is were the crazy friendships that would have never happened, would have never have been on our radar or reality if it weren't for these 2 vehicles, And that's been the cool part. The fact I probably have 50 new phone numbers in my phone that I never, I never would have considered having this many more friends. True friends, like not people that I just, but actual friends. That you text with, you call, you chat. Honestly, over all of this, it's funny. Like, we still get text messages. We get text messages from Bruce weekly asking, "Hey, let's chat. I know you're off adventuring and camping this weekend. let's chat on your drive home from wherever you are at right now.
I think it's going to be our new ritual. We do our weekly debriefing session with Bruce on our way
seriously.
back.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I
so
think-
fun talking to him about all of that stuff.
Yeah, the only time we haven't talked to Bruce about our adventure was our St. Augustine camping trip, because we ended up encountering some struggles with putting everything away because we tried something different as far as packing, and it just created some difficulties. And then the skies opened up and we had a massive downpour. So yeah, there was just enough change that we didn't talk to Bruce that weekend. But pretty much every other weekend we have talked to Bruce, and it's been great just kind of debriefing to him. And I think it's kind of also pushing him. And I hope these stories that I post, also push other people to get out and explore, and, inspire. Mm-hmm. You're right. Good call. Inspire others, to get out and try something different.
And Jimmy, I was going to comment on that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's exactly what Rivian had in mind and wanted people to do with these vehicles. And, I think it's incredible that you guys didn't do a ton of this before, but now the Rivian is the excuse or just the chariot to get you on those adventures, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And I'll speak for myself and my family, and we want to do a lot more. We've been big RV campers and state park visitors for a number of years now, but I want to take the Rivian to places outside of the state and go and do cool stuff across the country. And now that we have friends from the Rivian Stories community from all over the country, I mean, it's just going to be that much cooler to go and kind of, take adventures further where we'll have friendly people to hang out with too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Said so well. You guys nailed it. I wrote down a couple words: aspirational and relationships. We said inspirational. Nikki said like inspire people. It definitely does to me. We're so busy with school calendars and ball calendars, but we got to make time because it only happens once. So this is inspirational to me. But I remember the word aspirational coming up with a few interviews, how the truck and the brand is aspirational. Like you get in it and you want it to take you on adventure. Kudos to Rivian and the branding team for baking that into the experience and to the look and feel of everything. It's really a great achievement. But if I could interject a personal story, and this will be pretty transparent for the episode, but I think I'll go ahead and publish it. And so I'll be careful with words, but I'll publish it because it shows the power of this. I'm currently in a season where I'm just taking a good, careful look at like what's next, pivots, stuff like that as far as career. I'll leave it at that. Rivian Stories has taken so much time in my life, and good time for sure. But the amount of time can cause me to second guess, like, okay, how much can I give and all that. When I've been talking with Julie and we've had late night heart-to-heart talks through this period, it has become clear that I will absolutely make time for Rivian Stories because of the relationships. And we said, think about how many relationships we've built in the first year we've done this together. And then think about like what 5 years and 10 years and 20, like not only those relationships going deeper with people that we've mentioned already, but all the new people too. I mean, that's priceless. That's like, and I think I told you, Jimmy, or someone like maybe a time or two ago, like, the old saying, I'd rather have 1 million friends than $1 million bucks.
Yep.
Because if you ever got in trouble, each one of my friends would give me $1. Got anything else just to kind of, any other things that are floating around as far as adventure and community and relationships and all that?
I was going to say that one thing I will tell you, it has not been cheap trying to build our, supplies for doing a lot of these adventures. So, I
was going to ask that because when I was looking at all of these. You have like an air conditioner for Jimmy, for crying out loud, and then a lot of other stuff. I'm glad to see that you're reusing the butter container. That's what we do in the Midwest too.
Right.
No, that's actually butter.
That is butter, though.
That's actually butter. That's real butter.
But I'm going to have to start recycling some of these things for other uses. Yeah.
Yeah, but we see tents and stuff, and that I actually had written down. Do you want to give us like a little bit of your favorite stuff, or Nikki, keep going on your thought about the expense of it?
Well, I think for any good trip, I mean, you're going to evolve with your equipment and gear over time. You know, there's going to be a lot of things that you purchase thinking like this will be great, and then you realize maybe I don't ever use it, or there's that thing that you buy on a whim and it's cheap and it turns out to be the greatest thing ever. So we have definitely started to put some of our equipment through the test with these trips. I would say our rooftop tent, we love it. We've had to do some tweaking on or figuring out the most comfortable sleeping arrangement just in terms of like the mattress situation, because I prefer a little bit more cushion than Jimmy, and we've switched that off. I think we're still trying to figure that part out, but we've looked at putting it on the trailer as opposed to sleeping with it on the truck, and we've realized like the trailer's just not going to be sustainable for us. It takes a little bit too much time. We've created a really good routine with what we've done with the rooftop tent on the truck, and then we have a hub tent that we pop out and use as an extra shelter, changing area, shelter from rain, that sort of thing. So we've kind of I actually think like our hub tent, our rooftop tent, and maybe our electric grill has been some of the best purchases. And
the Zero Breeze.
The Zero.
Oh, no, that's the char. That's
that.
That's camping trip number 1 with the charbroil, which was not a great idea to try to heat water on propane. It's kind of definitely futile.
It took way too long.
So we did buy like a 2-burner induction cooktop that we found on Amazon for a smoking deal, like $160.
Dude, we need to do a separate episode just about your camping setup and what you like and what you don't. So maybe even take a little bit of time or, take notes this weekend and but lessons learned, key equipment, all those things. I think that would be very interesting to people.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe even Scott and Jen could join us on that too, because they've been outfitting as well for different stuff.
That would be awesome.
All right, folks, that's it for this one. Again, catch the entire episode on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast app. Until the next video, we'll be hanging out at rivianstories.com, so we hope to see you there.